Hello, hello. Hey, Sinistello. This afternoon's goal is to finish the faux potions spell, add some perks, and do a little bit of playtesting. Yeah. Hang on one second. Engage privacy mode. Okay. Sorry, I need to check something really fast. Hey, Matt. Okay, so we left off this morning with this mostly working. Yeah, tooltips and stuff. So here's what I want to do now. I want to go into all spell data. I don't know what I want to do in terms of the frequency on this, but we'll figure it out. This is every duration of spells. Every 1s for uh 30 seconds. Apply a faux potion. Apply a magical potion to the extractor. This potion will cause I don't know. I don't know what to write here. Hey, Pretzel. I turbo clicked redeem first for around 40 seconds. I think it's safe to say someone took it before me. Yeah, it was Sinistello. Sinistello beat you to the punch. Look at that. Sinistello redeemed first. Too bad. Too bad. Trophyless oppressal over there. That's what we call you. Well, now we're saying it to your face. Meanwhile, we're saying trophy full Sinistello. Yoink Costello over there. I don't know who that is. I only know Mr. Oatman. It's your new name. Apply magical potion to the extractor. The extractor has no limit to how many of these potions can be stored, can be applied. I don't know how to say this. The screen froze. Thank you. I appreciate that. The streamer isn't even blurred. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, I'm glad the camera's fixed. Because in my mind, if it weren't fixed, I would eventually need to buy a new camera, and that would represent a pretty large cost I am not planning on right now. I don't know how long cameras last, by the way. Should I expect to get like 10 years out of this thing or something? I guess at some point, maybe I'll want a higher quality camera, but I wonder how long this would last for. Did I check what the issue was? So I reseated the lens. What was happening, it's a ZV-E10. What was happening is when it would go blurry, I would press the zoom buttons and they would do nothing. And then even if it didn't go blurry, when I turned off the camera, normally it goes like, and like puts the lens back in. It didn't do that either. So I assume there was a faulty connection with the lens. Maybe 2 years of it just spinning and whatever for, I don't know. It got misaligned. So I took it off. I put it back on. I made sure to screw it on pretty tightly, and it seems like it's fine. I expect that to last forever. Realistically, what's going to break? I don't know. But I mean, it can't be forever, right? Like wires, any sort of soldering that happens internally, these all have lifespans too. Although I don't know what they are. But yeah, I get the point. Probably I want to upgrade before the camera will be dead. And actually, if I ever do upgrade, I could use that camera as a keyboard camera or a backup camera. Okay, 50 years. Sorry, I know that sounded really pedantic. Yeah, I get the point. Well said, Matt. All right, so every second for 30 seconds, apply a magical potion to the extractor. These potions to produce seeds and fish eggs. I don't know how to say this. These potions always contribute to overflow seeds and eggs. Yeah. Maybe I should say contribute to overflow seeds and eggs with no limit. There we go. Hey, Blair's. Struggling to land interviews. What would be your advice? I'm a pre-final year computer science student. So my advice on this matter is a little bit difficult because I think AI has totally changed the landscape. And since I was applying, I think it was even hard back then. My advice used to be like, make sure your resume is good. Make sure you have a good cover letter if you send one. Yeah, make sure your portfolio is good and don't lie on your resume, that sort of thing. All the usual typical stuff. But I think jobs are getting absolutely flooded with applications now, and they're all like AI touched up resumes. So people are kind of tailoring the resume to fit the job description, and they might not actually have those credentials. So then they get to the interview and it's like a waste of time for the company. So then there's just a pile of applicants somewhere. So unfortunately, I think part of it is keep applying. I think it's use as much of your network as you can. Do you have friends who got jobs? Do you have, I don't know, family friends who have a hiring position or something like that? Or any contacts you can use? Do you have any other professional network? Are there any conferences or career fairs or something you can go to? Anything that'll let you actually involve a person in the process, I think, is a leg up. And this will pretty much always be good advice. Like they say, it's more about who you know. I do think it's the easiest to transition jobs if you already have an in somewhere. Sometimes referrals don't mean anything. It all depends on the size of the company. But like, do you have any friends who are successful? Maybe they were a year ahead of you and they got a job. How did they find a job? Their advice is probably going to be much more relevant to today's day and age. I would only spend max 1 hour a day applying for jobs. I think there's some advice about kind of keeping your sanity throughout all of this. But yeah, I think it's a combination of application quality, application volume, and uh, contacts you have. Because to be honest, I don't know how many people even look at a portfolio now. And how would you tell, oh, is this just some vibe coded thing anyway? The way I always kind of say this is Monadic Bind visits the stream from time to time. He's a friend of mine. It's not like, he's famous or something. It's not like that was supposed to mean something on its own. But he said that he put up an artist job posting. I think this was a couple of years ago, and he got 7 applicants. It was for an indie game. The amount of time it takes to look through 7 applicants is such that it doesn't matter what your hiring materials are. You are not going to manually go through 700 applicants for every single job posting you have at a company. You're going to look through a few. You're going to have some way to narrow them down. You're going to have some way to evaluate them. And I doubt it's going to be actually looking at people's portfolios or resumes for very long. Would you be down to do a resume review? Maybe over Discord. So yeah, if you share it on Discord, I'd say redact your information, post it in like a general or off topic on the Adam Learns Discord, and I can try to take a look at some point. But like I said, I don't think the contents of your hiring materials matter as much as they used to when companies are getting flooded. But best of luck. I think this is it's so difficult. And I've talked to a decent amount of new grads through the stream, I guess, who've said they had problems. But I've talked to a couple in real life. I don't know that many new grads, but I met one recently, and he said something like he accepted basically a minimum wage software engineering job just because he wanted to get something. And I think that's rough. I think it's really rough. Like 10 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. It hasn't been very long. All right, these potions contribute to overflow seeds and fish eggs with no limit. Cool. Okay, so that sounds good. We need to make this functional now. I think this is fine. Make the spell actually work. So how are we going to do this? It would be the extractor that needs to tell if you have this spell active. And if it does, it keeps track of how often it should create a potion and put it in. At least it's a pivot point, a stepping stone. Yeah, yeah. I still think people need to do what they have to do. So if that's what they have to do, then fine. I'm just lamenting that they have to do it. Because there was a time when they didn't have to do it. And I don't know if this is trending in an even worse direction where it'll be like, well, you got out of software engineering, go get an unpaid job. Well, they're probably illegal anyway, but go get an unpaid job and like hopefully in a couple of years you'll get some money. It'd be like, well, that's nuts. Hey, Premier. I have not seen you in a very long time. Really is different between large corporations and smaller companies. Large corps, your portfolio isn't relevant. Most of the pre-processing is machine driven. Only a very small percentage of the funnel reaches human eyes eventually. Yeah, I think in smaller companies, it's kind of happening this way too, at least from what I've seen. Like I said, there was an indie game artist posting. They got 700 applicants. It's not even well, I guess it is a company, but it's a company of like 2 people. So it's got to be that if you're just looking for a job now, you're probably going to get flooded with people. I actually have a friend going through the same thing right now. He's trying to hire like 1 person and he's gotten a ton of applicants and they've ignored the requirements of the job. They're just posting anyway. I recognize the name. I don't remember much else. But there's like a reputation score in my head. And out of 10, yours is greater than 5. And I don't know why. So maybe that has something to do with it. But yeah, it's been, I think, a very long time. So I have no details anymore. Anyway, make the spell actually work. So what I'm thinking is the extractor keeps track of this time. It checks to see that this thing is on. Because where do we do this stuff to begin with? Worker spell. Update. I see. Okay, so what we could do is we could tell the extractor that this is on. We could do like town.extractor. Oh, you might not have the extractor. I didn't even think about that. I guess if you don't have it, you shouldn't be able to cast it. Yeah, prevent casting the spell if you don't have the extractor. This can technically only happen in bone mode. In story mode, you shouldn't be able to beat the dragon without leveling up. I think it's impossible. No, maybe not impossible. It's incredibly unlikely. Like incredibly, incredibly unlikely. Because there are only 2 characters who can dodge, the rogue and the archer. The rogue only has a 5% chance to dodge, and it's only half of the time. So half of the time you have 5%, half of the time you have 0%. And the half that you have 0%, you're going to get hit and you're going to die. The archer, though, has upwards of like 15% base chance to dodge. So technically, you could get lucky enough that literally every single attack gets dodged. Is that ever going to happen? No. But it is possible. And either way, we need to code this. It's just, it's not going to happen in story mode. No one's going to do that. Probably like better chance of winning the lottery 10 times in a row. So to figure this out. So we need the extractor to exist. That's probably going to be a requirement that we have somewhere else. And we're going to say like start faux potion spell. How's that? But then we need to know when it stopped. Oh, I see. We could just pass in whether or not it stopped. There's spell just cast and there's spell expired. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we do here. Did a mock design interview. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Wow. Yeah, how's everything been? What brings you back? Suggested applying to jobs. I even meet a third of the requirements. Yeah, I'm very torn on this. I think this is kind of up there with the whole like interview at a company you don't care about just for the experience. So this is one of those like, well, you might care once you go through the interview, but it's kind of weird that ahead of time, you know, you don't care. You need the experience. So you apply to a company, you're basically wasting their time. It's kind of similar to that. Like, hey, you meet a third of the requirements. You might meet more of them. They might think you're a great candidate. Maybe you didn't do a good job on your resume and you actually meet more than you thought. But yeah, it's a little questionable. Is that my resume? Someone really wants to find my identity, they can, even if I ever redacted it. Yeah. By the way, sorry, I didn't make this clear, but I'm not going to look while I'm streaming, but I should have an opportunity in the next like day and a half, something like that. All right, so it's going to be like update faux potion spell, but we need to know whether it's on or off. And doesn't the spell book know whether it's active? Yeah, is active. So we'll just pass this in. Spellbook dot is active. Sure, cool. All right, so now I go make this function. Maybe public internal void update spell. Okie dokie. And it's just for the extractor. So we put this here. So what I'm going to do is let's do private double time until next faux potion. And I guess we need to know if the spell is active, although we could just turn this off. Yeah, and we can set this to double dot max value. So then here we say, if it's active, set it to 0. This will start a potion immediately. Otherwise, set it to the max value. Yeah, sounds good. Then we need a process in here. This apparently needs to go lower in the file. We shall do that. Yeah, we don't have a process right now. But the item machine has a process, right? Yeah. So we're going to override this and call into the parent one. Put it right below init. Base dot process delta. And then time. What did I call this? Oh, what did I call this? Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. I thought I couldn't find a variable, but I'm just in the wrong file. So time until next faux potion minus equal delta. If it's less than or equal to 0, produce faux potion. And now this function is going to be a little bit harder to write. Perfectly fine. Just give me some pointers. Yeah. Okay, so set the time until the next one equal to 1 second. We should probably make this a parameter somewhere. I'll put it in here for now because I don't feel like figuring this out right now. And we're probably gonna allow you to change this anyway. Do we have anything about spells in here? Spell mana cost. So public const int faux potion frequency equals 1. And yeah, right, in seconds. All right, now we go change a bunch of stuff. This changes to every game constants dot faux potion frequency seconds. We don't bold anything else. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. All right, I'll write this down here. Bold all of the numbers in the spells you can cast. Yeah, I'm manually bolding it here. I guess let's delete the manual bolding for now. So every 1 second for 30 seconds, apply a magical potion to the extractor. These potions contribute to overflow seeds and fish with no limit. Maybe that should be a note. Have I always been a Mac user? If not, why Mac? I have not always been a Mac user, and I've got a little answer here for why I switched to it. And it's really short. Did I even link to it? I think I moved it to a different, yeah. Easier dev env, ability to write macOS and iOS apps, so I need to run on someone else, and the hardware was just really nice. I think this never used to be the case until Apple started making their own silicon. My computer now is practically silent, and my Windows machine just always had a bunch of fans running. Now, granted, even Windows machines have gotten better, even if they're not systems on a chip. Like, fans just seem to have gotten better, or cases, or I don't know what, airflow. But I can still hear my Windows machine when it's on. But yeah, that's one of the main things that attracted me to this: the low power usage, the low noise, and the M2 Mac Studio or whatever it is I have. It's kind of a powerhouse. I got it. When did I get it? Computer. I got it 2 years and about 3 months ago. And it's never struggled to do basically anything I wanted it to do. I suspect it'll still feel pretty good for another few years. Just didn't make sense. I think there was a lot of adapting to it, and there are some things that I still don't like. Finder compared to Explorer, I just don't like Finder. Everything else, like, okay, as one example, and this is very minor, but like if I move my mouse wheel to the left, it's back, and if I move it to the right, it's forward. Guess what? Finder cannot use those keys because I don't have an Apple mouse. So you need a third-party extension just to get these two buttons to work. Like, this is the dumbest thing. I just absolutely despise this decision. Like, I have a button on my mouse that does this in every other program, but Finder is like, nope, we don't want to work with third-party mice. So it just doesn't do anything. And it's like, okay, well, fine. That's a somewhat minor thing. I know I can still go back and forward with a keyboard. But other little things about the usability here, it's just a paradigm that's different from Windows. Everything else is pretty similar. I mean, sure, minimizing Windows is different, and I don't know. Mac had multiple desktops before Windows did, and I don't really use the computers too differently from that. But yeah, Finder I can't really avoid. And what else? I think that's about it as far as my like main frustrations go. I'm trying to think if there's something else. Gaming, I guess, is harder. I mean, that's kind of a given. Gaming is harder on Mac. There are ways you can try to work around it, but it's like I play the finals, just unplayable on Mac. It's got an anti-cheat, and they just never made one for Mac, so it doesn't work on Mac. But that's something I think most Mac users know about, at least. Plus, some game companies are pretty good about it. I'm serious. Yeah, Windows actually had an ARM build a long time ago. And that's back when I was working at Microsoft, and they actually gave us the Windows RT tablet for free. And it was terrible. It was so bad. It was like, yeah, if you want to watch Netflix, you got a tablet for it. Great. If you want to do anything else, too bad. You can't just install arbitrary programs. They didn't have any sort of emulation layer as far as I know. I've never used Finder, just stayed in the terminal. I think some things Finder is better for. Like, let's say you want to see pictures here of what you're actually looking at. I think it's just nicer to see this here. Sometimes just moving things in between disparate folders is kind of nice. And sometimes you're just used to like what a folder looks like. I guess an example I have for that is this. This is my homepage. It's got all my links. I'm used to the shape of this homepage now. So like when I go to file a new issue, I would click here because I know that it's on one of the rightmost lines in here. It's like sometimes with folders, you get that same mental image of what the folder looks like, so you know where you're looking for something. And sometimes navigation can be a little bit faster, but not always. Depends on what you're doing. Anyway, so we have this written in here, and we need this. So produce faux potion. So what I'm going to do is create an item above the extractor that gets dropped into the extractor. So let's start by creating a potion that already exists. Item.create item ID.small blue potion and a quantity. I don't even think we need the quantity, do we? No, we don't. Okay, so item or potion equals this. So now we need to add it to the extractor. Add child potion and then position it. Global position. Actually, just regular position equals the position of, I guess it's just going to be, yeah, new vector 2, something like that. And then we fly it into this thing. Turn in item. I don't want it to play a sound. Maybe it should, though. It's going to play a lot of sounds, though. It's going to make 30 potions. So maybe we should tone that down a bit. But isn't there a fly-in item somewhere? Where does that happen? Don't workers drop this off? Drop off item. Change destination. Toggled item machine. State process. Reach target with intent to drop off item. Create item was picked up. I probably need to call that. Yeah. Where does that go? Whoops. I cannot stand that. Potion was picked up. All right, what am I missing? There it is. Item target drop off item. Okay. So it's not turn in, it's drop off. And we drop it off from the potion's position. Okay, so let's see how this works. It might work. It's going to produce a potion every so often, and it's going to apply it to the extractor, and then it's going to probably start breaking. But this is a start, at least. So let's see. Hopefully the farm is empty. It is. Okay, I'm going to click this spell. Wait, let's save. Let's save with full mana. All right, I'm going to click this spell, and it should start creating potions above here. Yeah, well, it's creating them off to the upper right. And it's just filling these in. But what happens when it gets full? Oh, interesting. Nice. That's exactly what I want. It's just making a sound, and it probably shouldn't be making a sound. And it's going from the upper right, which I still didn't understand. Why is it doing that? Potion opposition equals new vector 2, 0, negative 16. I don't get it. Also, what's this? Cannot add child item to extractor. Already has parent extractor. What, because drop off item does that? Oh, well then why don't we just do this? Why don't we do global position? Don't add that. Minus, or I guess plus vector 2 dot up times 16. Yeah, let's see if that works. I don't know if it's going to be annoying that it's making a sound all the time. I don't have the sounds on right now, but I'm going to listen for that in a bit. All right, is that better? It's not better. What's going on? I think because the center of the image is probably like there. Oh, you know what we can do then? We can just, instead of global position, just get drop off point. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. Wow, I'm pretty happy with how easy this was to do. Then we need to make a special potion that's worth even less money. All right, so I'm going to click this again. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. Just drops in some potions. It doesn't look like it's fading it out, though. Do workers make it fade out? I guess we need to expand the farm if we're going to do that. How long does this run for? Jeez, 12 more seconds. No, it doesn't. And I want it to fade out in that time. Oh, it's not adding the overflow seeds. That's not good. Yeah, it needs to add to overflow seeds. Why does it add to overflow fish, but not seeds? Strange. Strange. Why is that happening? Accepted quantity? Items dropped off but was not accepted. Get item quantity be accepted. So the extractor defines this. Get item quantity to be accepted. Yeah, at some point it should stop doing this. I kind of want to just ignore that though. I want to do like drop off item without the actual dropping off of an item. What does this do? Make it so the only accepted quantity. Item value to be turned in. Oh, we're going to need a custom function for this, I think. Yeah, we're going to need a custom function for this. Items can be turned in asynchronously when they fly in. To prevent dropping off extra items when this happens, we accumulate the value for those at the moment they start flying in. Keep track of these items and verify them later and turn in item. So we call when the items return in. However, turning in items is an async operation. So only get called once the item actually arrives. With that in mind, there's a possibility this method will not actually be called in some situations. if the game is saved while the item is flying in. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got we've got to change this a bit. Yeah. Item is picked up, drop off item. All right, I got to figure out, first of all, this get item quantity be accepted. This should eventually return nothing, right? Get item quantity. Items accepted by farm is max seed value allowed. What is that? Number of empty plots times the base per seed minus the accumulated value divided by the item's value. Max fish allowed divided by item value. I see. So at some point, this isn't gonna allow any more things in. But I don't have an easy way of testing that, do I? But we want to bypass this function entirely anyway. We want to just act like this is always at maximum. Retiring Prime gaming brand. I guess it's going to be called Prime now. Oh, interesting. They already changed it from something else, didn't they? Twitch Prime, maybe? I don't even remember. So long ago. No memory of this place. And so I don't want this to be called. I don't need any of that. I guess I don't want this. Item value to be turned in. So this is the stuff I need. And return remaining quantity. I don't care about that either. So I want this to be its own function. So what is this? It's going to be like drop off item bypassing quantity checks. Accepted quantity. It's going to be the item's quantity because it'll be equal. So if we type this here now, I won't forget for later. Anything else? No, that's it. All right, so let's make a function here. Public, what is this doing? Void drop off item ignoring quantity checks or something like that. And then pass in item vector to whatever. And I don't want any of this here. I'm going to put it in myself. All right, drop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Got to be careful about pressing tab. There. All right, nice. So now in the faux potions thing, we're going to do that. So there is no quantity check anymore. This can be protected, I suppose. Which means we move it down to turn in item. I don't know, why is this a problem? Does not exist in the current context. Well, guess what? It really does. All right, so let's try this. It should allow seeds to collect up beyond just 1 or 2 or something. So if I click that button. So it says overflow seeds 1. It's not working. Why isn't it working? I think because there's probably some code in the base class that stops it from accumulating too much value. Turn in item. Modify accumulated item value. That goes into here. Max value allowed. Yeah, we want to bypass this. Drat. Drat. It's only called from here. We could just pass in the... Oh, no, we can't. Well, we could. We could pass in the item and then have this thing figure it out and have one specific item that bypasses the value. Alternatively, we could check here. I guess I should make a new item, right? What do we have? Item, all item data. There's a white potion somewhere. Here it is, small white potion. So we'll call this faux potion. A magical potion that tastes like nothing whatsoever. value 1. That's the important thing. So we're going to pass those in. Produce faux potion is going to be small white potion. So now it's only worth 1 gold, not 2. And then what we could do is we could check for this. Modify accumulated item value. This is called from here. So it is possible for me to do this. I don't know if I want to. Modify accumulated. I think we just pass in the item. Yeah, we should just pass in the item. Fine. Item. So this is going to be equal to item quantity times value. Yeah, nice. That should work. Item, long delta equals that. Put this into the weapon grinder too. Where's the weapon grinder? Modify item. All right, so this isn't going to change at all, but this one is. What we're going to do here is we're going to say the max value is going to be infinite if the item ID is equal to small white potion. Max value allowed equals long.max value. Bypass the max. Actually, we don't even need to do that, right? We could just say if this is the case and item ID is not equal to a small white potion. Tim, howdy. Wow, that was a long stream. Thank you for the raid. How did day 1 go? How does it feel to be 1% done? Welcome in, everyone. For those of my viewers who do not know about Tim, Tim just started a 100-day game challenge. Maybe it, whoops, I don't have a command for that. Hang on. Let me do it the right way. Yeah, so he just started. Today was day 1 of a 100-day journey to make an entire game. So if you want to watch that journey, it's nice and consolidated. It'll probably span, let's see, 4 or 5 calendar months, I think he said, and in February or March. How do all streamers know each other? Well, Tim and I have both been streaming for a very long time. I started streaming in 2015, and at the end of most streams, I would raid someone. So I've raided probably, I don't know, hundreds of different people at this point. So at some point, you kind of like look through the other names in the category and you recognize a lot of them. But yeah, how did the stream go, Tim? How's day 1? You feeling good? You liking Windows 11 a little bit less? Yeah, I haven't really done any dev on Windows 11. Or if I have, it's been like very minor stuff. The last Windows thing I used was Windows 10. And then I switched to Mac. And the switch to Mac was 2.5 years ago, basically. All right, I think this should work. Let's go try this out. We are currently making a faux potions spell. So this is going to be a little convoluted for people who haven't seen this before, but there's an extractor in the game that's connected to your farm and your fishing pond. And when you put a potion in it, it'll give you a seed or a fish egg because the potions are very dirty in this game. And now there's a spell that'll just keep pumping potions into this. And you can see it planting things on the farm over here as it's pumping them in. And it should update the overflow seed. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. So let's let this spell finish. It's going to put in 30 potions. So now we have 11 overflow seeds. So now if we let these grow and we harvest them, we'll get 4 more. And now we'll be at 7. Then we harvest these and we get 4 more. Now we're at 3. And now we'll get 3 new seeds being planted. Nice. Now we got no overflow fish eggs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run at maximum speed and just wait until it gives us enough fish eggs. It's going to take forever, isn't it? I'll just add some more potions in. Oh, wait, we already have 3 fish in the pond. Okay, so then we're waiting for this to just give us mana, which I guess we can just cheat. There, done. All right, I wanted to get to 2 eggs. So we need to cast it one more time. There, done. Okay, so now we're at 2 overflow eggs. So now we have 3 fish in the pond, 2 eggs in the extractor. When I start a battle here, it's going to put 5 fish into the fight. Yep, nice. And now this should be at 0 and this should be at 0. Perfect. Very good. Very good. I was there, Gandalf. I was there raiding 3,000 years ago. That's right. A fellow Appler. No Mac and no Windows for me. I think, so I don't really have a dog in the fight. I'll say that. I think whatever works for you is what you should be using. Especially, I mean, if it's not harming someone else. And the operating system choice you have is almost certainly not harming somebody else. Trying to hold together my sanity together with this reformat and reset up of all the tools and options. Yeah. What caused the reformat for you? That I wasn't aware of from watching the stream. I didn't know if it was just like, well, the computer wasn't operating well, or I got a new computer or something. What game am I making? So this is Skeleseller. The basic intro to the game, and hopefully I don't totally break something by showing this to you. So you were an adventurer and you were out and you got into your first fight, you got poisoned and you died. And now you became a skeleton and you're just kind of walking around town. So you send adventurers in the battle that you've hired who have not died, and they fight automatically for you. And when they win these fights, so I'll speed this up. When they win the fights, they produce items from the battle, which you then go stock into your shops and they'll be sold to these customers. And you use the money to upgrade your town, to hire new adventurers. So it's a very laid back game. It is, I'd say it's pretty good so far. We've had a demo out for a while now and people generally pretty well like the demo. The new thing that I've been working on and I need playtesters for, yeah, it's like an idle RPG, but I wouldn't really say it's super idle. You are doing a decent amount by the time you've built up your town. Like we have this farming mechanic, and yes, your workers can go harvest them, but you're probably doing that a decent amount. You're probably moving some items around. You're still managing what are you building, what, you know, you can cast different spells, you can upgrade perks and stuff. So there is a lot of stuff you can still do. What I've been working on lately has been this mode, Bone Mode, business optimization via new expansions. This is a more roguelike version of this game. So instead of picking a specific perk you might want, you're picking between a set of 3 options. You might have gotten the one you want. You might not have gotten the one you want. You can re-roll. You can try to find a different one. And you're building up your town this way now. So rather than hiring a specific adventurer, you're like, which of these 2 is better? Okay, I'll go with a rogue for now. Or which building is better? Okay, I'll get the garbage slime for now. And it kind of changes how you play a little bit. So this thing that I've been working on today has been adding this new spell in here, this faux potion spell, which does not work when you load from a save file, I realize. Make sure faux potions work when you load from a save file. It needs to mark that this spell was just cast. Such a happy garbage slime. It is. Yeah. This little guy's happy. This guy's a little sour. You're one of those people who use keyboards. Who use those keyboards, yeah. That's a corny keyboard. I did find a missing engine feature 3 hours into starting a new game, though. Oh, nice. Things are being sluggish that shouldn't be, and with Windows 10 end of life, I wanted not to do it mid-project. That makes sense. Yeah, I couldn't upgrade my old computer from 10 to 11 because of a CPU mismatch or something. But then I got a new computer and it came with 11, and I just thought, this was really a gaming machine for me. Oh, it just cast the spell again. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I want this to fade out, which I don't know why we didn't do that. Why didn't we do that? Especially because we have these fly functions here. It would have been very easy to do it. But I guess it's not always fading out. Maybe we could add it to the extractor. Drop off. Fly functions. Doesn't this return a tween? It does. Tween equals this. Tween dot parallel dot. Hang on a second. How's this work? Fade in, fade out. I guess just this. We could pass in the existing tween. Okay. That sounds pretty nice. And then fade functions dot fade out. So I want to fade out the item. over a duration of whatever the existing duration was. Can we even tell that? Probably not. I don't know. Let's just say a tenth of a second. And pass in the existing tween. Will this work? That'd be great. Am I doing the art? No, I'm not. I'm very, very bad at art. But yeah, Matt linked in the credits. It's mostly Quickie Joe doing the artwork right now, but there were some asset packs that we started with. At this point, it's more custom art than it is asset packs. All right, so this spell is technically active, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything. I should save this when it's not active or when it's close to done. Has 8 seconds left. Yeah, let's turn this off. Okay, so save, and now click this button. Okay, that's good. It's taking a little bit too short a time to fade out. Ideally, this is combined with what we do in fly functions. Oh, wait. We could just pass in a parameter that says to fade out. How smart of me. Let's do that. But yeah, nice that there's a parallel thing here. So let's do this. Bool fade out while flying equals false. And then if, oops. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so existing tween. And we need the same duration. Where's the duration? There it is, duration. So we just plug this in here. Okay, that should be pretty nice. Let's go test that. So we don't need this tween anymore. We do need the fade out while flying. We should probably do that in a few different places. I'll write this down for afterward. Specify this in more places. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, for anyone who joined, the demo is playable now for Skeleseller. If you like the demo, if you want to join the playtest version, I could really use all the opinions I can get. I just want to know, is this mode fun? So it's not a hard playtest. You don't need to like bug hunt or anything. It's just play and report. Did you have fun or not? So it's pretty easy. When is it coming out? Probably in Q1 of next year. That's what I've got on the Steam page, at least for right now. Q1 2026. The slightly longer context of this is we had story mode planned from the beginning, but that's all we had planned. And I just never planned for replayability. I looked at this game like how I looked at Super Mario RPG. Super Mario RPG is a very fun game. It's maybe about 10 hours long. You beat it. There's no real reason to play it again. Any decisions you made the first time, you could just be making the second time. You're going to get the same characters. You're going to get the same level ups. You're going to get the same spells and stuff. There are some different decisions you can make, but other than coming up with a challenge for yourself, you're probably just going to only play when you're bored and you haven't played it in like 5 years or something. But people played it, and because Idle is, at least in the genre, people expect like practically infinite gameplay, or at least for it to have been stretched out way longer than it was. But story mode is about 2 hours in the demo, and it's probably going to be about 5 hours in the full version. So that's what led us to making this second mode called Bone Mode. And that's probably going to add another like 5 to 10 hours maybe. And that's why I need people to play test it. The reason I'm answering all this stuff when you just ask when is it coming out is because I started working on this a couple months ago, and I see it as a necessity for launch. So it was pretty much like, take as long as it's going to take to get this thing out there, because otherwise people will complain that like story mode is only 5 hours, and yeah, I had fun, but I don't want to pay $15 for 5 hours. So game dev is it's just very frustrating sometimes. And it's very gratifying at other times, because some gamers you interact with are going to be positive and nice, and some are going to be entitled. And the general Steam population is somewhat entitled. You're also working on a game. Have you launched anything? Because I was going to say, if you launch, you sort of, you realize all of that frustration toward the end. All right. So this works. The fade out while flying is what I want to try. So let's try that out. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like that. I think it should maybe start a little bit higher up. 16 pixels away is not a lot to be able to tell what's going on there. Maybe even like 24. I don't know. I'm just making up a number here. Kind of legit for early game. It should hopefully be good at any time in the game because we can add a perk that'll make it better. And I wonder what it'll be like in challenge mode, bone mode. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I like that a lot. I don't know if it's going to be clear to you that these are these magical potions. You can't hover over them, right? No, you can't. Also, if you could only pick one color for the magical potion, what would you pick, I guess? I picked white just because we're not using it for anything else. But maybe it should match the color of the spell, which is red. I don't know. For sludge ramp up, yeah. Yeah, I think it'll help with sludge and it'll also let you sell your own potions. Too many red potions already. Okay, we'll keep it as is. It also doesn't even have to be a potion now that I think about it. Although I don't know what else it would be. Oh, it could be an empty container. No, but I think just the potion I have is probably fine. Yeah, let's stick with that. Hey, Speezy. White looks good? Okay, cool. I'll share if you let me. Want to respect your stream rules? Oh, yeah, you can share it. That's fine. There are only really 2 rules in chat. 1 is no segmenting, and 2 is no doxing people, pretty much. I haven't ever had a problem with this one, but I've had a ton of problems with the first one, the segmenting rule. It's a gigantic pet peeve of mine, and I probably use my command like once or twice per day. I'll write this on my list. All right, so how many different values for each of these? So modify seeds differently from fish. I don't have this logic here, do I? There's drop in, ignoring quantity, and then we get to turn in item. And this does modify accumulated item value. My thoughts come in phases, hard not to. I will warn you, it will get you timed out pretty quickly in this chat. So please don't segment your messages here. It's an adjustment for some people. Some people never get used to it and they just stop chatting in here. But yeah, it's one of 2 rules. Man, my throat, there's like it's like when you're sick and you get this feeling in the back of your throat. That's what's happening right now, but I don't think I'm getting sick. I can't tell if I just need a ton more water. They just stopped chatting here. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people don't like being warned every single time they chat the way they're used to chatting. I think there is one person who keeps forgetting, and I've probably warned him like 14 times over the years. And he's always like, yeah, whoops, sorry, I forgot. Most streamers don't read long messages. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Also, I do try to be as nice as possible about sharing the rule and enforcing it. I've had it go south on me before. I'm actually still kind of unclear what happened in that situation where it went south. All right, so this is being done. This next part is not, and here's where we have this. So we get the item value here, and we do it for each destination. But I think what I want to do is I want to count it for fish with like double the delta. So I think we do long multiplier. This is a little bit weird. So I'm going to say destination equals extractor destination dot pond. And it's just bool item is faux potion. Not item is faux potion. All right, so we'll give 3 gold for a fish. How many crops are you giving? You're giving you 30 gold over 30 seconds. So for seeds, that's going to be 15 seeds. For fish, that's going to be 0.6 of a fish. And we said we wanted to be 2 fish. So we need to multiply by 3.33333. Sounds good. But then the problem is that we can't do things this way. So this needs to be a float, and then we're going to need a round anyway. So this technically is impossible. So let's just set this to 3. It'll be almost 2 fish. Yeah, it'll be almost 2 fish. Okay, faux potions count for more value for fish because otherwise you may not even get a single fish. All right, now let's go try this out. Not a crazy amount, but enough to keep going. Yeah, definitely enough to keep going. I think that also shows that there's enough interest in your studio, essentially. Like, you might make a different kind of game, but it means you've probably gained some followers for whatever game you end up making next. I think that's really nice. And I think it's especially nice if you decide to just make a direct sequel. I was talking about this the other day, but just Slay the Spire 2 is coming out. We had Hollow Knight and Silk Song. And what, Stardew is going to have Haunted Chocolatier. And how many other games that are just like guaranteed successes as soon as they come out. That probably sounds like I'm trivializing the amount of work that goes into those games. I know it's a ton. But when you have an attached fan base, it helps their momentum. Okay, so I want to clear out the pond completely. And how many progress? Okay, progress is 42%. So we are going to win this fight. Good. And now I want to see this go up. It's going up by 6% per time. So yeah, 1.8 whole fish. So it should end at 22% and the pond will have 2 fish in it. I'll speed this up. There we go. So 22% and 2 fish. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. We're giving you 1.8 fish at a baseline and 15 seeds. And it's over 30 seconds, but this spell, I guess, could be used infinitely and it'll just keep stacking forever. So again, if I do this and I just keep running this, we currently have 33 overflow seeds. It's to the point where you won't even need to bring potions in here anymore. So now if I spawn some potions, they'll just bring them to the shops pretty much forever. The difference is if I had this in the fishing pond, then they will bring them back over to here. But it won't count toward your overflow seeds anymore, right? Yeah, it's only counting toward fish. Nice. Taking it out of the studio, make a game engine. My first game, so my client did well. He's great at marketing. Ah, I see. What's the game engine? Because the last game I did was in a web engine. Well, I guess I started in Phaser, but I was only there for like a month or something, and I switched to Pixie at some point. But the option to work on Phaser, then I guess I've used your product. All right, so this is all done. This is done. This is done. Make sure saving and loading doesn't do anything weird here. It does. We gotta fix that. So when you load from a save file, we call spell just caster expired, and then we call this. Oh, but this is probably done before we even have the extractor. Let's take a look. How does loading work? Do we make the extractor first? Here's the enchanter den, and then there's the farm and everything. So that's our problem. What engine am I using? I'm using Godot. When I was saying the last game I made was a game called Botland, and it's not playable right now anymore, but this was just a sprawling project, and it was it's an interesting hook, but it wasn't a very fun game, I think. So you would write scripts for your bots, and then the bots would do battle according to those scripts. It was a PvP multiplayer game, and it was like fun enough at first. It took way too long for how much game there was to make it. called Chaotic. You can make your 3D web game look like a console game. Advised by the guy who published Fortnite. It's a whole thing. We're coming out of stealth right now. Oh, cool. I was trying to think of what the name of this other thing is as you were mentioning that. I can't remember. God, I'm just losing my mind. I was also trying to remember. Actually, maybe someone in chat could help. Although I was trying to remember this yesterday, I couldn't. There was some like guidelines for creativity, and there were things like don't edit, just publish. And what were some other things they said? I like try to these aren't the exact words they use for any of this stuff, but try to reduce the barriers you have to creating stuff. Like stop being so critical. This is kind of in the don't edit, just publish. And it was maybe like 10 of these. And I cannot remember the word they used to describe these. It wasn't manifesto. It wasn't like a yeah. Anyway, I couldn't figure out what this was. And it's just like what Filler's talking about. I can't figure out what this thing that reminds me of Chaotic is. Oh, do you get a kickback, Filler, from games that are made in the engine? You mentioned this person who knows the Brazilian influencers, like they sell a bunch. And you said it was enough to, what was your wording? Yeah, it felt nice. I wonder, 10% rev share. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So it's like you sold 10,000 of that game. All right, is there a reason why we loaded the Enchanter Den first, I wonder? Probably not. So probably we should just put this down here. And then everything would probably work fine. Did it complain about this? I didn't even look. I should write a comment for why we did that, because it's not going to be clear to me in the future. Okay, so what do we have right now? We have 92%. We're dropping some potions in. I'm going to save and load. Oh, I guess I already did that. And yeah, we're getting potions. Nice. And how many seconds were left? Like 15? 18? Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. That's fixed. We have to do this after the farm so that the extractor exists for faux potions. You go on web, you don't pay a platform or a publisher. 10% is a lot less than you usually pay out. Customers happy. Working on a new game together now that I added Stripe integration. Yeah, Discord's fine. Yeah, sure. That is it. Thank you. The Cult of Dun. I knew it. It was a manifesto, but it was the cult part. Oh, I'm giving you a point for that. I also need to give, I think, Skeleseller a point for pointing out that the stream was stopped. Did I give him a point earlier? I did. Okay, never mind. I'm not giving you another point then. What are points? Points are just for laughs, basically. If someone's helpful in chat, I give them a point. So this is the leaderboard of everyone who's ever gotten a point. Yeah, points are only ever given by admin or moderators and don't mean anything. Thank you for this. I got to share this with Cavino. I cannot believe I couldn't find that. I used 2 different AI searches to try to find it. I did a bunch of manual searches. Share with Cavino. Need to figure out how to be useful. Don't you have a point? I think you do. Oh, wait. Sorry. Sorry for calling you out like that. You have 0 points. That shouldn't be so funny to me. It's basically like, weren't you helpful in stream? No, you weren't ever? Okay, too bad. It's not really how it works. Sometimes, anyway, I'll leave it at that. You use Claude for this? Yeah, I used a couple of other search engines and couldn't find it. I used Find, and I used, I guess, just ChatGPT. And then I used Google and Bing as well. These weren't AI versions of it. Oh, I guess they showed me some AI stuff too. But yeah, awesome. Thank you, Supertonic. I appreciate it. I wanted to share that. By the way, for anyone who hasn't seen that, it's a pretty interesting, very, very short article. It's just these 13 points. There are 3 states of being: not knowing, action, and completion. Accept that everything is a draft. It helps to get it done. There is no editing stage. Pretending you know what you're doing is almost the same as knowing what you're doing. And it's just like, get stuff out there. That's the basic point. You don't have to agree with all these things. It's just food for thought. But I like this. And in particular, the context for this was Covino's been working on YouTube videos. And he said he just keeps recreating them. Like he produced one video and it took like 5 retries at making that one video. And I was like, hey, I should link you this thing. And then I couldn't find it. Supertonic wasn't here. All right, prevent casting the spell if you don't have an extractor. How do we even do that? There's a not enough mana somewhere. Yeah, here. Requires extractor. This should pretty much never happen. Spell requires the extractor. All right, so here it is. Place sound on failure. If spellbook is active or this, and place sound on failure is true. Oh, we can't just cast a random spell then, can we? We need to know that you can cast the spell. Okay, so private bool can cast faux potions. This is dead simple. Yeah, there. Put this here. Is it going to complain about this? I would love for my ID to just do this. Is that good now? Yeah. And what is this? Faux potions from spells? These are needed because other things call into this? Yeah. I don't think I need anything for faux potions then. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. Let's delete it for now. Yeah, nice. Why do you call it faux? Because they're not real potions. They're like magical potions. And because the faux and the po of potions sound similar. So it flows nicely. All right. So if spell book dot spell ID is this and play sound on failure, then play the failure sound and create text for this. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Okay, I like that. And then the last thing we need to do is when we cast a random inactive spell, we need to make sure that you can cast the spell. So maybe... where it's not active and... yeah, that. Okay, let's try it out. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Pillar. I'll take a look later. Probably going to be relevant to me. I'm going all in with doing my game in C with Vulkan and no dependencies other than Win32 and Vulkan. I'm implementing my own TTF font loader and rasterizer right now. Yeah, I think it's probably helpful in a lot of cases. I think there's also, I kind of look at it sort of similarly to you ain't going to need it. Do I not have a thing for that? Oh my God, I don't. You ain't going to need it. Which is, in general, both of these are analyses of when do you know you should move on. And with you ain't going to need it, it's like, just don't do things you're not going to need yet that you don't know you're going to need. And with the Cult of Done, it's like, stop belaboring something to try to get to perfection. And I think there are times when these things serve you. I think this is a generally good principle to have. You ain't going to need it. But I think the Cult of Done is like, there's a time in your life or a time in a hobby that you have where it's going to apply more often than other hobbies or times. So when you're starting out with something, like, just get things done. You don't need to perfect things. You're not even going to be able to perfect things. And game dev is, I think, a shining example of that. Everyone kind of has their dream game when they start out with game dev. And a lot of times it's some like massive game. It's an RPG or it's a whatever, some crazy thing. And it's like, maybe don't make that your first game. Maybe start with something else. Okay, so let's try this out. So the only way to do this is to go into this mode and to get the enchanter before we get the farm or the fishing pond. Oops, I did that backwards, exactly backwards. Oh my God. All right, let's try that again. There it is. Okay, so now if we try casting this spell, spell requires the extractor. Perfect. And it should be making a bonk sound, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so now what we got to do is we got to get maxed out entropic magic. Entropic magic. Get extra spell chance. Let's just set this to 1. Return 1. Okay, so now every single time you cast a spell, it's going to cast a random other spell. And I should have saved the game. I didn't do that. I need the enchanter again. There, nice. Okay, let's just save now. All right, so if I cast a spell, it's going to cast another one, but it should never cast this one. Good. Not enough mana. Good, cool. It worked. And I can't cast this. But if I go get the extractor, so we build the farm, and then I wait for one of these spells to run out. We got 18 seconds. So I'll speed this up for a couple. Done. Now I click this, and it worked. And now you can hear how annoying that is. So bad. Oh man. Okay, what do we do about that sound? So option 1, just don't play a sound. Option 2, play it quieter. Option 3, play a different sound. Option 4, change the frequency so that it's like 5x as powerful, but 1/5 the frequency. Wonder which one of these is best. I think it should have a sound, but I think if we make it too infrequent, that it might not be obvious that you've cast this, but you might be hearing this all the time. That's probably not good. Hey, EAX. Option 2 and 4. Option 4. Let me take a look at something here. We have a play sound. Do we have play sound with volume? I think this allows us to do it. Something allows us to pass in a volume. Probably if I just search for a float volume. There it is. Play in audio player. But what sound doesn't have that? Surprising. Yeah, that's surprising. Play sound. Oh, it's not even here. It's in the extractor. Yeah, we could just expose a different play sound function. And just pass in the volume for all these. Alternatively, just change this one to take in float volume. % equals 1. Pass in the volume %. Take in the volume % over here. And then pass it into this. And then do that from the extractor. Whoa, motorboat. Thank you for the gifted subs. Yeah, PogChamp indeed. Thanks, motorboat. Really, I appreciate it every time. Oh, hey, sorry. I missed your messages on YouTube. Person whose name I can't read. But I'm making a game called Skeleseller. I'll link it in the chat. There we go. One of the most complete games I've seen being developed here on Twitch. Very nicely polished. Thanks. Yeah, I'm toward the end of the development cycle. Like I said, it's going to be Q1 2026. So it's been quite a lot of time. Who's that man on camera? Hey, leave your girl. Yeah, I think the camera's fixed. I reseated the lens. Play sound once so the player starts speaking. Vary the pitch. I think the pitch is being varied a little bit. Take a look. What is that called? Sound. Place item and extractor. Place item. Oh no, this one's being varied a little bit. It's from 80% of the pitch to 120%. How long have I been working on this? I started April 17th of last year. Subtober. Maybe I should reseat myself. Well, if you're blurry, probably should. You feeling blurry? Yeah, okay, so let's do this. So if the item is... If item.id equals small white potion, then we'll set the volume to a different amount. So float volume percent equals this. Sure. And then pass in the volume percent. Okay, let's try that out. Yeah, it hasn't been too long. It beats Botland's 5 years. Man. I feel... It's kind of hard to explain how I feel right now. I'm excited about the changes I've been making. I want more, like, success for this project so far. But it's sort of unreasonable to expect it when there's just a demo. And the demo has done pretty well. So I'm just antsy. I think that's how I feel. Antsy. All right, what are we doing? I just changed the sound. Yeah, so let's load this up. Shouldn't it be making a sound? Oh, I don't have the mana. That's better. And if you put a potion in yourself. Yeah, it's louder. You know what's interesting? I have an audio throttling system. Where is that? Audio player. Yeah, so... How does this work? Depending on how many times we recently played this thing, the music or the sound, we'll attenuate the sound that we play afterward. Every second we decrease this by 1, and we're playing this once per second. But then any other potions that go in will change it. So yeah, I guess we're like quickly backing off even more for this thing. Also should figure out, yeah, sound data volume. Interesting. Doesn't require time or money for people to wishlist. You're saying people are playing your demo? That's a real thing because they're spending time? Yeah. The demo, this is what I think is crazy to me. Like, if I show you, where is this? Here. So these are the demo stats. The median playtime across 8,000 something players has been 2 hours. So like people are playing the game, and it's not a typical idle game where you would literally just start it up and leave it. So people are coming back after like 4 hours or something. It's like, you got to be kind of active for that time. Poor man's limiter. Poor man's limiter. Yep. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that as an option. I don't think we should change the frequency. I think it's kind of nice to see those potions going. But it would probably be annoying if you have enough mana all the time. If I just get a ton of mana, this spell is going to be active like practically always. We have so many seeds. I guess if we upgrade the farm. And probably crop growth speed. How many did I use? We have 125. Oh, let's grow some of these. Let's do that. Yeah, it does fade into the background. I think that's okay. I like that. I don't mind making it every 2 seconds either. That would be okay with me too. Although at that point, they're just small blue potions. They're not even anything special. Although that might be a better thing then, right? That we're putting in small blue potions because a player knows what those are. Interesting. This is so cool. I like this a lot. Let's also get this. So is it possible to burn through these, I wonder? I guess you'd also have crop variety. Like, this is what I want to figure out. Can you run out of the effect of faux potions? We have 106 seeds left. I guess let's just speed this up. There's no reason for me to wait real time for this. In fact, there's no reason for me to do anything. I can just leave this. And if this number looks like it's going down, then yeah, it's trending downward. It's at 100-ish now. Now it's in the 90s. If it makes it to the 80s, I'll be convinced that this is going downward. Almost there it goes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it's possible for you to harvest everything. We might want to weaken this a tiny bit. The other thing I wonder about is if we do have extraction, this should work a little bit differently, right? So what do we have right now? 66%. So we're getting 6% per time. If I click this, we should get more than 6%. Yeah. Oh my god, now we're getting... Was it 16%? Is that too powerful? 4.8 fish? I guess it's fine. Okay, cool. I get a hype chest? I don't think I've ever gotten one of these. Open. Share. Choo choo. I like that emote. It's pretty cool. I don't know when I would use it, but nice. Do you need help connecting to publishers, raising money, anything like that? No, I don't think so. I'm not really looking for a publisher or anything. And as far as raising money goes, I've spent out of pocket about $250 over the last 2 years. So I'm trying to keep the budget under 500. I don't think it's going to be possible, but I think localization is going to make that harder. I think where it's going to be tough is if I decide to launch in China and Steam isn't good enough for whatever reason. I think that I'd probably reach out to like a Chinese marketing firm or something. All right, so what did I decide? That maybe we should give this potion a little bit less often. Maybe once every 2 seconds would be okay. Because the spell lasts for 30 seconds. So if we give it 1 per second, then it's 30 sound effects. And if we give it 1 every 2 seconds, then it's only 15 sound effects. So yeah, I'll try that out. Let's go do it. Game constants. What do we have here? Faux potion frequency we'll set to 2. This should be used. It isn't. So I gotta go fix that too. Time until next faux potion. Set to 0. Shouldn't be set to 0. It should be set to game constants dot that. Although, actually setting it to 0 is fine. This is what's wrong. There we go. And then if I'm gonna do that, we need to have it create a different kind of potion. So let's go to the extractor. It's gonna rerun the game. I don't want it to do that. Turn it off. So now it'll just be a small blue potion. Oh, but then it's probably not. No, it's probably fine. Yeah, so now it's once every 2 seconds. And now, wait. This can't be working correctly, right? What? It's adding 6% per potion still. How is that possible? Oh, because I did not change this. Okay, yeah, it needs to be a small white potion. We'll just change small white potion to do all item data, small white potion. Yeah, we'll just change the potion to be worth double. Yeah, there. Okay. All right, I think we're pretty good with this feature, right? That's done. That's done. That's not done yet. And none of this stuff's done yet. Just did publish a game in China via publisher. To be fair, he did sell quite a bit there, but he's still trying to get paid. Oh, really? Wow. Yeesh. I admittedly don't know many China specific stories, but I haven't heard of publishers withholding money like that. That sounds very scary. But yeah, I think the first step I would probably do is just launch on Steam and maybe pay like a Chinese marketing firm. At least if you pay a marketing firm, you don't need to get money from them. You get it from Steam because they guide more people to your game. So that would at least bypass that problem. Okay, fade out while flying, true in more places. So let's go look at fly in item. Or what? I don't remember what I called this. Fly in item. Yeah, why didn't I find anything? Maybe I typed something wrong. All right, player held item. I don't care about this. What is this one? Wait, what is this for? Stop holding item. Yeah, I don't care about this. This is the chef slime. This one's good. Let's do that. Fade out while flying, true. Any others? Guildmaster. Probably same thing. This is the item bin. Sure, same thing. This is item display. That's not good. This is good. The recycler, yep. This is a treasure chest because a key goes in it. Yeah, sure. And this is the treasure chest display. Okay, so that's everything. So let's go try that out now. You know how to operate there? Like talk to someone first who's already made all the mistakes. Once there, being successful in a single city is like being successful in the entirety of the US. Well, but I think the important part is just knowing the reputation of the publisher. Like it sounds like this publisher did well enough for your friend to get $250,000, more than that probably. If they owe your friend $250,000, that must mean that they took their cut already. So it sounds like they did well. It's just that publisher in particular is less than savory, apparently. At which point it doesn't really matter what you know about the market. It matters that a company is withholding the money from you, which is a real shame. All right, so this should be raising it by 12%, yeah. And the overflow seeds by 1.5, but it shows it's integers. So sometimes it'll jump by 2, but it's gonna be practically impossible for me to tell because we have stuff happening over here. I can't tell. Yeah, I can't tell. It doesn't look like it's going up by 2. Oh, wait. Oh, it's because the cost per seed is exactly 2. Oh, and the small blue potions were 3. Okay, my bad. I made an assumption that was stupid. All right, well, let's look at the other ones then. So if I drag an item to the garbage slime, it should now fade out as I drag it. Yeah, nice. That looks really good. All right, cool. Same thing with putting a key in a treasure chest. Yeah, very cool. And what else? Putting an item in the quest bin. Do I have any of those potions? Do now. Yep, nice. Wow, neat. Did I do this anywhere else? Item machine. Guildmaster. Guildmaster's the last one. Okay, let's try that. Nice. I like it. All right, address the to-do items we put in the code. That was it, apparently. Okay, that's already done. Guess the challenge comes from, I don't think Steam is very popular there, so you can't exactly use that. How do you know a firm until you use them? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. He didn't know anyone else there, just saw big numbers coming from there, so he rushed. Oh, yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is the whole thing about learning the market is not your job if you're hiring a publisher, right? So then it's just vetting that the publisher is good, which I guess you have this problem with pretty much anything you're trying to vet online, whether it's a product on Amazon or whether it's a restaurant in your hometown. you don't know it's going to be good until you yourself experience it. So you base it on reviews, you talk to other people. Maybe there's some governing body. In this case, at least these examples don't have that. But maybe in the case of like a health inspector or an electrician or something, maybe you could talk to a governing body for that. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's some amount of trust you're placing in something. And even if it's the other people, you talk to 10 friends and they all say, oh yeah, this was amazing. They might still do a bad job with you. Although ideally it's not withholding money, bad job. It's like oh, hey, we didn't put in the same amount of effort marketing or something. All right, add a potency perk. I think we can hold off on this. I want to do a little bit of playtesting, and it's almost 3 o'clock, and I've streamed already for like nearly 6 hours today. So yeah, let's go check this in. Yeah, some of these positions change. That's okay. This is good. I like this a lot. This, we now have a customizable volume percent. This is all fine. Yep, this looks good. This is all very straightforward so far. This I don't like. That's the one thing I don't like. Let's write this down for later. Enchanter Den primary cast spell. Enchanter Den primary cast spell could maybe be cleaner. That's fine. Well, that's kind of fine. The spellbook should probably know whether or not it can be cast. And in the case of faux potions, it would need the town, which I don't think books ever get. No, they're just given the tooltip. They could be given the town, though. And then they could figure out themselves whether they could be cast. Which is just, are they active or not? And if it's a potion spell, do you have the extractor? But I'm not concerned about this. I think it's okay. Rest of that looks good. Time until next. Yep. So we have a pretty complex tooltip. It's okay, though. It's looking good. This is all fine. Yep. Yeah, so just don't spam them with the volume. I think that's going to be self-documenting. Faux potions count for more value for fish. Yep, bypass the maximum for faux potion. Overflow eggs, overflow seeds. This is all looking pretty good. And we added tooltips for the extractor, which is nice. And the weapon grinder. Wow. This needs a comment. So item machine drop off. Anything else though? Wow, this was pretty good. I did a lot of work for this. Yeah, and it's looking pretty nice. The thing I don't like is my sucky artwork. Like this is supposed to be red, and I just don't know how to match colors, so we're just gonna leave that as pink for now. And this is supposed to match the color of the book, but again, not gonna worry about that. But yeah, other than that, and these couple functions I want to fix up, this is pretty nice. As far as I can tell, he spent months trying to figure it all out. He's the exception though in our circle of friends. Most people fared well there. Yeah, I'm not really at the point where I'm worried about this stuff. Also, I don't even know what my scale of what monetary success means. So I just say this, but like, is it 100,000? Is it 1 million? Is it 10 million? I don't know. And I'm not really too concerned for right now, at least. Because I'm expecting this to do at least better than Potland did. Which is not saying much. I heard that your game should be 90% of the marketing. Would you agree? I think I kind of talk about prevailing advice on the stream. And I think traditional marketing for games back in the day was a lot of like TV ads, magazine ads, word of mouth maybe. Nowadays, a lot of it is driven by algorithms. So if you think about Steam and how it figures out what game to push, or YouTube and which videos to push. So this is, I think, why people say, hey, if your game is good, it strongly behooves these platforms to push your game to more people because there are going to be more eyes on the game, which will then get them more money. So yeah, I generally think your game has to be good. But this is, I mean, what are they're like the 4 P's of marketing? And the first one is product. Yeah, product, price, place, and I can't get this tooltip to go away. Promotion. So if your product is bad, I don't really think it matters too much how you market it. Like some people think that there's some like massively successful bad product out there. It's not a bad product. You just don't like it. Like Candy Crush isn't a bad game. just doesn't appeal to everybody, but it appeals to quite a lot of people. So like the product is just good. And then there are a lot of games out there that I think are good that might be lacking one of these other ones. Like, it doesn't matter how good your game is. You can't charge $100,000 for it. It's just not a thing you can do. So yeah, I generally think your game has to be good. And I think it behooves you to make your game good anyway, unless you're trying to, what's the word? Money grab. Unless you're going for a money grab, cash grab, that's it. Unless you're making a cash grab sort of thing, you're trying to get rich quick, then I think you do need to care about the quality of what you're making. Gonna go out to work a bit myself. Nice. Yeah. All right. Take care, Filler, and welcome to the stream. If it isn't John Learns Live, Skeleseller doesn't do Botland. I'll literally walk through Europe. It's a very non-specific threat, I guess. Couldn't you just walk a couple steps? Hey, Old Rod, someone gifted me a sub, even though I'm rarely ever in here. Yeah, it was, I think, yeah, Motoboat. If you click your name, you should be able to see. So Motoboat gifted you a sub, and it was a random set of targets. So you were one of 5 people. It's very nice of Motoboat. And that's your first time chatting, Rod. Welcome to the stream. And it's totally fine. I don't ever, it's like, you can be gifted a sub. You don't need to start chatting or anything. That's totally cool. I am very lurker friendly. All right, so I want to, ooh, I accidentally closed that, didn't I? I did. Okay, well, I kind of remember where I needed to do this. One was in here somewhere. So there was a function I just added. I don't remember what it was. I'm like losing my mind today. Here it is. Yes, I wasn't super happy with this. There are 2 different ways that something can result in a failure. So like did spell fail. Or how about we just do this? String spell failure message equals string.empty. And then what we'll do here is we'll set the failure message equal to that. And then down here, we'll say if spell failure message is not equal to empty and play sound on failure, then play decline, play the message, and return. This is much cleaner code than what I had. And now we do this. Spell failure message equals that. I'm not actually sure why. Yeah, this is stupid. Okay, so if spellbook.is active, then we just say the message is that, otherwise it's that. And we put an else here. Because you can only have one failure. Yeah, nice. And now what's the problem with this? Test for empty strings using string.length or string is null or empty. Yeah, sure, fine. String.is null or empty. Cool. Yeah, that's much cleaner. I like that a lot. Hey, Sound of Gaming. I realize the fault, it actually is a good analogy because if it doesn't do well, it's at the same time saying I can walk through like every single country. I could also literally go outside for 2 minutes. That you could. I would be incredibly surprised if I didn't do better than Botland on this. All it took was a random sub to gain a chatting viewer. I'll also pledge to walk through North America. Wow, thanks. Can we get everyone to pledge at the walk at least 1 step if this game doesn't do very well? That would mean a lot to me. I think together we could walk a collective 50 or maybe even 70 steps. Usually stream when I'm at work, so I just watch pods. Ah, I gotcha. Okay, yeah. Out of curiosity, and there is no subtext to this whatsoever, so please don't try to read into this more than there is. Do you have lots of meetings at work? The only reason I ask is because I do think most people treat this as background noise. And if I worked at a traditional job and did not have a lot of meetings and I guess could focus, well, yeah, I guess that's the problem. It's the focus. So never mind. I kind of answered my own question. I was about my life on the fact it'll do much better. Usually working with clients, yeah. Okay, so now this next question has a lot of subtext. Have you ever heard of TV carts and Chromecast? It should be like, okay, hey, come on in, welcome. This is my business. Here's what I'm gonna offer you. Let me just wheel in this TV over here and turn up the volume. That's Adam. We're gonna be listening to him talk about Skeleseller today. God, that's hilarious. Oh my goodness. I don't really enjoy the stream. I just come here force of habit. Hey, to each their own. To each their own. I also enjoy watching your content. Oh, thank you. I don't mean that derogatorily to myself, by the way. I think being someone's background noise is still an honor. It's like you could have listened to music, you could have watched somebody else, and you still chose to tune into this. All right, so here it is. This is the last thing I want to do is write a comment here. This drops off an item, but ignores the check for quantity. I need to say why, or else this is a pointless comment. And it's the caller of this that matters. And the caller that I care about is the extractor. So normally, drop off item, we'll check to see if we even accept anything. So this is more like ignoring acceptance check. A version of drop off item that always accepts the item is used for a very specific case, which is bow potions. It will always count toward the overflow potions that you have. Yeah. A lot different compared to traditional SWE jobs. There's so much I don't know. Currently, I've been going through a Kubernetes course, and I find myself rewatching videos 2 to 3 times because the content is too dry. It's not interesting enough. Don't understand what's going on. It's been 3-ish weeks. Hasn't gotten easier. I think their expectations were set correctly for someone brand new to DevOps. I don't think I set mine correctly. Okay, so I think there are a couple of things this kind of makes me think. One is I think liking your job is important. And I think liking your job is a combination of the entire equation of your job. That goes from compensation to your team, to the topics that you do, to the impact that you have on the world, to whatever other number of things. And it sounds like if the topics aren't interesting now, it's possibly because it's difficult, and maybe it's because it's just early on. But maybe you won't like it even after some time. So I would just keep an eye on that. Second, the part about it being dry, I have noticed more with infrastructure than any other topic that if you go to some random thing, like let's say you go to, what's a good example here? I don't know, Vercel. And you click this and you're like, sorry, hang on, I'm logged in. So I don't know what that just showed, but hopefully it was nothing private. All right, you click this and it says build and deploy on the AI cloud. Vercel provides the developer tools and cloud infrastructure to build, scale, and secure a faster, more personalized web. Practically every single infrastructure product sounds like this. It's almost impossible to tell what they actually do. Like you look at Kubernetes, for example, and we go to like their main site. And it says, also known as K8S, is an open source system for automating deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications. And if you know what Kubernetes is, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. If you don't know what this is impenetrable. It's like, what is it doing for me? And again, I've used Kubernetes. I know what Kubernetes is. I'm just saying, I've noticed this more with infrastructure stuff than I've noticed with like anything else. You can probably find Amazon documentation and be thoroughly confused by it. So I think if it seems dry, it's sort of part and parcel with DevOps, and that if you find DevOps interesting, you'll get past those hurdles of like, what is this obscure nonsense? Sounds like I hate DevOps. I don't hate DevOps. But yeah, hang in there. I believe in you. And if they have their expectations set and yours aren't, I think it's like, find out why your expectations are potentially wrong. When I started at Google, they said something like, we don't expect a PR within, I don't know, I'm going to make up a number, a month. And I was like, you haven't met me. This was stupid because they know Google has a lot of smart employees there. And if they're like, hey, we don't want you making code too fast, it's like, I shouldn't be trying to violate their expectation then, right? I should be like, okay, let me take my time, right? Instead, I caused myself a ton of stress. I was like, I'm going to show them I'm better than all the other developers who are here. It was a mistake because I didn't care that much. So yeah, If your expectations are tuned because you're like, I want to show them I'm really worth it or something, it's like, look, if they're not expecting you to do any better, then they've seen this play out a bunch of times. So adjust accordingly. Okay, what is this? This is for the Enchanter Den. Okay, yep. I already looked through all this. I think I'm pretty happy with this. So we did a bunch of things. Add foe potions spell. Note that there are no perks that interact with it yet. Some other things I need to do. I added a tooltip to item machines to make it clear what the accumulated values are. This should alleviate some confusion and also make foe potions as a spell make more sense. I also changed fly in item, I think. Yeah, I changed fly in item to have a fade out while flying Boolean, which is now set to true in applicable, like appropriate cases. Looks a lot better. Cool. Check it in. It said somewhere around the 6-month mark I should be more self-sustaining. My first Swede job took around a year before I could be set on my own. My worry is that it'll take longer than 6 months to start making contributions. So the way I look at this, because I kind of look at this, this is going to sound really stupid and dire, but like, what would it take for you to freeze to death in a snowstorm? Trust me, this analogy is going somewhere. So you don't just find yourself outside and then bam, you're dead. It's like your temperature drops. There's some amount of panic setting in, but you're still just standing there in the snowstorm. Your temperature drops. You eventually will freeze and die. But it's not like it's an instantaneous process. Yeah, okay, hear me out. So you've got a 6-month runway for this. At maybe 3 months, there should probably be some indication of whether it's going to take you 3 or 9 months more. And it's not up to you solely to figure that out. Presumably your manager or a mentor or some kind of buddy or the rest of your team or somebody can tell you like, yeah, seems like you're on track. And if they're not getting that you're on track at 3 months, then they can probably adjust so that by 6 months you are on track. But honestly, even if you end up taking more than 6, and there's some amount of standard deviations away where it would be concerning, right? If it took you 6 years, then yes, they're probably gonna be frustrated at some point. But if it took you 7 months, they're probably not gonna be frustrated, right? If it took you 8 months, they might be like, all right, well, it's a little bit slower, but it's still kind of fine. And at some point, that flexibility dies down. So yeah, I would just say to try to see from external sources whether or not you're on track. Hey, Apta. All right, who brought down prod? Are there any sounds of gaming over here? So I guess the moral of the story is don't freeze to death in a snowstorm. All right, I'm not going to do this right now. Although I do think this is worthwhile. I want to do some playtesting, I think. This shouldn't be a meta perk, but it doesn't really make sense to have it as a perk. How do we even do this now? There are no meta perks for this anymore. We could make a special one for this. Would that be good? Should meta perks just be stuff like that? I learned from Kit to always test in production. It's not my money. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. We have 6 meta perks. These are universally good things. You start with random town perks, you start with adventurers, you start with buildings, you start with customers, you start with workers, or you start with battle perks. Cool, great. Okay, what if there were a 7th one that said you start with more town perk rerolls? And it was like level 1 gives you, I don't know, +1. Level 2 gives you +3, and level 3 gives you +5. Is that interesting? Is Xyletics in chat? I want Xyletics to answer this. I see Xyletics in chat. don't think Alex is here. All right. Well, I'll ask over Discord probably. Oh, I heard my name. Okay, so I was asking you a question, and I wanted to know from you specifically because I think you commented on meta perks before. But if there was a meta perk that said you start with more town perk rerolls and it had these levels, would you be like, yeah, is that interesting? So we'd add it to these 6 that you see. Oh, that's a little bit broken. That's actually a lot of bit broken. I need to fix that. Is that a problem even if we do something like this? Yes, it is. Okay, that's a big problem. Just got reminded I should post Rufus again. Yeah, you should. Maybe I'd have to play with it. Okay. All right. You can return a lurking. Thank you, Athletics. We can make a meta perk for this. +1, +3, +5 rerolls. I'm not sure it's super interesting, and Xyletics didn't instill confidence. I'm doing what's called XDD, which is Xyletics Driven Development. It's the new fad in game dev. Oh, I haven't done this yet either. All right, I want to mess around with this. Let's go try. Oh, you know what? We now have a way to get more fish. I wonder if that makes the fishing pond better. Makes the enchanters then better. Yeah, I want to start at the metric server and I want to try this stuff out. So let's go to the tools folder and where's the metric server? There, and then how do I start this thing? Python server.py. Metric server password not set. What is this supposed to be? What? What's the dev password? It's set through release tool. Okay. Yeah, I think we can just do this then. In fact, I should already have it. Yeah, there it is. I should probably put that in the README for that. Password for dev. Just pull whatever text is in project.godot literally. At the time of writing, we have this in there. So you would run this. Okay, so now we start at the server. Great. So this is running. And now I want to run the game, but I need to delete my save file first. Done. And let's go try it out. So I'm going to start with the tutorial because I want to time everything and figure out how long this stuff is taking. This first scenario is intended for new players to get the hang of bone motion. You skip directly to the next scenario if you prefer. I think it should say it starts you with extra gold, right? Intended for new players. It starts you with extra gold. Yeah, there. Okay, so let's click start. So I believe I start with 200 gold, which is way too much. So I could go hire a bunch of adventurers and then just send them all into the volcano to begin with. And even build some buildings. Farm, sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave that open up there. They should easily win this. Surprisingly, only the archer's really taking damage. And also, surprisingly, they're taking forever. Let's start this quest. I'll put this in the farm, this over there. All right, cool. We got some items for sale. I can afford a town perk, but I want another building first. Oh, nice. Person wants a yellow potion. Yeah. They'll eventually make it over there. Even if this person buys them both, there'll be another one by then. Yeah. Oh, they bought 3 of them. All right, we got a bunch of money now. I want the fishing pond. Actually, I don't know what I want. I want that. Let's take that. Now I want the fishing pond, and then I want the enchanter. I want to try the new spell. It's a lot of items. This feels pretty good. Starting with a bunch of money, just being able to jump to wherever you want to. You probably don't even need a town perk because you just need to earn 500 gold. In fact, I shouldn't even be leveling up my adventurers. Let's level up one of them. There. Yeah, I should just turn this off. There, done. Hey, you want a cloak? I've got your back. Yeah, I'm getting too many things. Oh yeah, the new bandage thing too. That's pretty cool. Cool. Well, this is not what I wanted. But I'm going to take that, and we're going to apply faux potions. Nice. Nice. So I should probably send them into battle, huh? Yeah, we have more than enough items. Done. Turned off systems. What? So cool. We have a new spell. We have 1,000,000 seeds. Wow. Okay, that spell is very powerful in the early game. I wonder if we should change that a bit. Does this even matter? We're gonna win pretty soon. We just need the garbage slime. There. I don't even need whatever's going on over here. All right, so yeah, observations so far. The new faux potions is really powerful when you only have a 2x2 farm. Not sure if we should balance that or something. All right, let's send them back into here. Can I? Oops. I didn't mean to do that. And that's it. We should be able to win. Yeah, we don't need any of this stuff. Oops. Oh, I'm so used to clicking the rightmost spell. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to cast Loot Magnet. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Sure, let's go with that one. I actually buffed this in the afternoon yesterday. So now customers can move even faster at the higher levels. Oh, that person wants a blue potion. We can give that to them. Nice. Yeah, so we have no overflow fish eggs, but a lot of overflow potions. Work's done for today. Good time zone, everyone. Until next time. All right, take care, Leap Your Girl. Yeah, I'll check out the pictures after the stream. I think I have a lot of stuff to get through because I saw I had some DMs. I have a couple people who said they posted stuff today. Employee discount. Sounds good. Sure, let's take it. We're selling those. Yeah, this should be done pretty soon. I mean, I'll play another run. I want to play an actual run here. But we're going to win this pretty fast. Any more of these sell? Yeah. Let's get another town perk. Employee discount. Love it. Max customers, armor shop. I don't actually need the armor shop one. I don't know why I did that. We're already stocking all the armor we need, which is 2 slots worth. Cloning's really good. They want a dagger. That'll probably be, when they get there, that might be what wins us the mode. Because we're 81%. We just need a tiny bit more. I don't need to build anything else. It doesn't win it for us. It only gave us 3% of the money. All right, I'll get another town perk. That's good. Employee discount's pretty good. Although it assumes that I'm actually looking at where these things are. There we go. Hang on one sec. Abby. Abby, you want to come over? Ah, there we go. Okay, so it took 6 minutes and 12 seconds. I'm gonna write this down. Tutorial 6M12S to win. Yeah, we got 9 town perks. This is all fine. All right, let's go to the title screen. So now we can afford an upgrade. We have 15 points. So we just can't get this, but we can get anything else. Ooh, what is best? And we can afford... Well, we're getting this no matter what. Because that only costs 5. So now it's which one of these 4 do we want? More workers? More customers? Another building? I don't think either of these is as important as one of these two. I think I'm gonna go with more workers. Now let's do it. Especially for farming mode. Yeah, I like that idea. All right, so I want to see how this run feels now that we've made all these different changes. Let's start a couple different battles. And I think I'm going to save up for another adventure. Yeah. This is pretty interesting, though. All right, so there's some potions. Let's put them on the farm first. I want to level up my adventurers. Oh, and we unlocked a couple of new perks that can be found now. I didn't look at those, though. So I don't know what they are. Whoops. And actually starting with 3 workers is another reason to do this. Huh, interesting. I don't have space for that stuff now. Yeah, the workers are gonna get clogged pretty soon. That's okay, though. So we've almost got our first crops. And I almost have 50 gold for another adventurer. We don't have any armor, or sorry, any weapons. We have plenty of armors, though. We have a couple customers who want them. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I'll just let that one die. It's fine. I probably should have sold one of those. We only need 4 gold. I could just click one of these apples. Alright, get me the upgrades. Also give me the tiniest amount of gold. Good, perfect. Cool. Alright, now watch me nudge this armor item to the side so I can pick up the potion. Advanced strats. Yeah, I'll take the robe. I need to get the mage at some point. Yeah, I definitely want to get the mage. Alright, nice. Now we can finally get this quest. Oh, right. This is easier now because I got rid of the difficulty modifier. Oh, man. I wonder if I should make this mode take longer as a result of that. I don't really want any of this. That was not bad. I want to get the fishing pond, and I want to get the enchanter, I think. But let's get some money going first. We could probably send him to the next area at this point. Oh, we need some blue potions. I'll let him get a few more blue potions. That way I get my next worker. And can we get one more? Nice. Okay. So with that done, let's send them all to the volcano. Where they should be able to win. I'm getting that mage. Just not yet, that's all. Good. Let's get the garbage slime. Nice. Now we can dump some of these things. Are you always live this late? Semi usually. Not always though. Hey Becca, how you doing? What should I get next to that? Probably. All right, we can minimize this now. Put it down there at the bottom. Yeah, I have a lot of items and no real use for them. I'll sell some of those. All right, let's get a couple of town perks. Love that one. That one's decent, but not great yet. This is really nice. I like this one a lot. Hey, Stormblade. So the Corn keyboard has me intrigued, but I'm worried about switching between different keyboards at different locations I work at. So the Corn is very portable. And when I would go into the office for my last job, I would just bring the Corn with me every time. With that said, even though it's portable, it's still kind of annoying to have to like unplug it, get the cables, put it in a case, bring it to the next place, plug it in. So that brings me to the second point, which is that it's not that hard to switch to another keyboard. Like let's say you use a QWERTY keyboard at one place and a Corn keyboard at another place, or like a standard keyboard and a Corn keyboard. It's not that bad to switch between them. I switch every time I'm gaming. And honestly, sometimes I feel like I type better on a traditional keyboard still. I just have so many more years of experience with that. Oh, I need the mage. Those aren't the mage. I really, really want the mage, though. I've invested quite a lot of them. So yeah, I would say to give it a shot. And you might love it and just buy a second one. And then you have 2 Corns. I feel like I'm the Corn ambassador. I'm getting this even though we still don't have the mage. And I am banking on getting them. Let's get the warehouse. Those aren't the warehouse. I don't have space for any of this stuff. How many overflow seeds do we have? Nice. If only it was 2 different locations. Yeah. It's the same general point. But yeah, I think just keeping whatever keyboards you're used to and just using... Okay, actually, I will say this. When you first get the Corn, you should probably move it wherever you go at first. But then after you've gotten used to it, I think you can stop funneling all of your learning into that. I want the warehouse. Nice. Because now what I can do is I can cast this spell. And that gave me some items. Like buffing the cleric, which I did not need. Oh, hey, they want a blue potion. I have a blue potion. It's shiny, it's red, it gives you 1 free gold. I'm trying not to do that because not everyone knows about that. So I see it as semi-cheating. But I know it bothers you very much. I'm not doing it to bother you. Mage, there it is, we win. There it is, GG button right there. Plop, 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 put them all in there. And win the game. This is so much more chill than it used to be. I don't feel like I'm rushing against anything. There's always something to do. I don't have to do it. Yeah. Feeling pretty good. Are we getting boots, but we're not getting yellow potions anymore? I probably should have done something a little different. We also need customers to actually move their butts. So I'll cast the butt moving spell. There we go. There we go. Put that in there. Do we have any? Yeah, I need to put some potions toward that. Although, do I really? Yeah, sure, fine. Why not? I have some excess stuff. Are we almost full on boots? Did that count? I think so. Long Twitch ads. I guess I won't be able to hear me say what I want to say about that. But when the ads are done, I can comment on it. All right, we got all of those. I'm going to send them back into the volcano now to get the remaining yellow potions. What do we have? Overflow seeds are set to 1. Nice, perfect. And that gives me 7 overflow seeds. Pretty interesting. I actually don't need much else. Let's get the fishing pond. Oops, that somehow didn't click that. All right, so dump these in here. Treasure room would probably be nice just to dump these extra weapons that I'm getting. Let's get it. Well, that was cheap. Yeah, let's dump all these in there now. In fact, let's just turn that on. Just be able to go in there now. And there's the final potion. We will now go back to... Actually, let's try the waterway, see if we can beat that. They might be able to. They've been pretty thoroughly upgraded. Yeah, nice. We probably need to make it clear that you're unlocking new perks. Otherwise, it may not feel like the runs are changing much. Oh yeah, sorry. So Sternblade, the ads, I have them set to run for 3 minutes every hour so that it doesn't give people pre-roll ads. But I can't make it lower than that and cut out pre-roll ads. And the pre-roll ads are kind of bad for stream growth, although at this point I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Oh my goodness. Look at all these options I'm getting. Auto casting, this is crazy. Oh, we're maxed out on keys too? Wow, oh my god, look at all this stuff. Yeah, let's put all these keys in here. I need my workers to move faster. Okay, hold on. Let's cut out the loop for a second and send you all back there. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, that's pretty good. This grape in there. Twitchers is being greedy. I mean, it is pretty much determined by them. Like, if I were to, I'll just show you the ad controls that I have. That'll show you. All right, where is it though? Ads. Okay, so here's what I can set. I can set ads per hour. If I set this to less than what's allowed, it will... It will have pre-roll ads. Yeah. So disable pre-roll ads by running mid-roll ad breaks. Every 30 seconds of mid-rolls grants your channel 10 minutes of no pre-roll ads. So that's why I have it set. I could set this any higher. I have it set to the lowest possible that'll disable pre-rolls. I want longer ads less often. I guess I could do this. Run 30-second ad breaks every 10 minutes. Do you think I should try that? I never thought about doing that. I could just set it to automatic. Run a 1.5-minute ad break every 30 minutes. No. What about 1.5 minutes every half hour? How does that sound? Because, yeah, I guess when there's a 3-minute ad break, it's pretty much like, well, I'm going to leave this stream and not come back. I'll try this, whatever. Higher frequency just makes more interruptions in the conversation. Yeah, but it's also, with lower frequency, it's longer until you get to talk or hear them talk again. Yeah, I don't really think there's a best thing here. I mean, unless you're getting money for it, have it. I'm getting money for it, but it's like $5 per stream or something. It's not a ton. If I could run no ads whatsoever, I would run no ads whatsoever. I don't need the extra $5 per stream. But I have to run some number of ads, or Twitch will just insert them for me. That's why I was trying to show you these controls. It's like I can't stop ads from showing up. All right, well, let's just leave it at what it was then, I guess. 3 minutes every hour. Great. Yeah. How do other people do it? I don't pay super close attention how other streams do ads. Oh man, I've just been sitting around here. Oh darn it. That was stupid. I shouldn't have done that. Oh no, I have nothing going on in the town. I also have a ton of money. A ton of everything. This feels like I'm progressing too fast. Let's get that. Let's get that. That one. I don't even need flimsy fish. I'll take it. Glowy fish. Sure. Okay, so send the spirit caller into here. And then get loot magnet. And turn this off. Yeah, nice. You don't think those people have ads? I think they have to have ads. Unless there's some like special contract they have with Twitch. Because like I said, I just showed you the controls. Every Twitch partner should have those same controls basically. Go with this one. Because I want to cast this spell. No, wait, not that spell. Man, I'm getting so confused because they're both the same color and I'm used to this one being... Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. This wouldn't be a problem for new players, I bet. They would just not be burdened by their muscle memory. I'm getting way too much money. Yeah, I think maybe what would be ideal is if I actually took breaks so that during the ads you're not really missing anything. But I tend to just blow through the whole stream and take maybe one break. And I feel like my brain is struggling. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. I think we're going to win this, but I also think I just kind of idled for a little bit too long. And I think this is probably a little bit too much money that I'm getting. And I don't know if I got lucky or what. But it doesn't really feel like I did. Alright, this cannot keep up. So let's hire one more adventurer for them, maybe. Even then, I'm not totally sure. Cast loot magnet again. Some streamers pause gameplay. Yeah, if I were just playing a game, I feel like I'd be more focused on entertaining people. It is really hard to entertain and code at the same time. So I mostly just try to be informative about what I'm doing. But if I were playing a game, I think I could focus more on entertainment. And if I were just focusing on entertainment, I could probably just stop and start talking to people. Maybe I should do that anyway. Thing is, my primary goal is to make the game. And I feel like I'm meeting that primary goal, which is why I don't do anything differently. Alright, we need another adventure. I should stop spending my money on this stuff. Although we're also about to win. Yeah. I guess there's not really going to be an opportunity for me to try anything different here in this run. It's like record time winning. Then again, I did make the game a lot easier too. Alright, so we should just turn this off. Get all of our pumpkins. Halloween special. Crank this stuff up. We can even go to the next location. Sure, whatever. Hire an adventurer. Send them into here. There it is. There's the win. Okay, 16 minutes, 39 seconds. 16M, 39S. This felt too fast. I probably shouldn't earn gold so quickly. Makes me wonder if we should change the prices of things. Yeah, that's another thing. You're right, Stormblade. Like, if you're in a flow state for anything, you don't really want to stop it. Alright, so we've unlocked 4 perks now. Farm crop value, battle perk cost, power leveling, and increased customer speed max. This is not that exciting early on. I don't know if it's ever exciting. But now we have 15 more perk points, so if we just refund this, we can pick some different stuff. You know what? I am going to... I'll start with another adventure and another... No, I don't like that. I want the workers. So let's get that, and let's get... I could just get more workers. But actually, starting with another adventure sounds pretty good. Let's do that. And we're going to start with even more. All starting adventurers are given 3 battle perks. Is that even correct? That is not correct. No. Adventuring says all starting adventurers are given more battle perks. Or something. But that doesn't count your meta perk adventurers. If it did, it'd be nuts. We should just change the wording. Rather than changing the functionality. All right, so going back to this, we're going to send our strong workers. Actually, just send everyone into here. This will stop us from being able to do the quest, though. And let's get the enchanters done. And then let's go enable this. We can't click this, right? Okay. Yeah, they're already able to win this. I think this is going to be pretty fast, too. Even the warrior is taking a long time to die. All right, did not double, but it should still be a decent amount of money. Let's get a town perk. I'll reroll. I'll get shiny loot. How much does that increase the cost? 1 gold. 1 gold. Presumably 1 gold. Build another building. Let's get the farm. Oh my god. A lot of items. I cannot hold all of these items. I'm gonna just pick them up and make sure they don't go away. Yep. Get a building to maybe hold these items. Or a garbage slime to eat them. Either one's totally fine. Take care, Pressel. It's 3:40 right now. I will know to have a good rest of my minute. Thank you. Feels like I'm in Severance. Pressel is my boss. I hope you sleep well. I just want another building. I want the warehouse. That's not the warehouse. Where is the house? Make sure not to enjoy any other minute. Wow, thanks. That's awfully mean of you. Give me the warehouse. Nice. Now I can store all of my gloves. Keep my adventurers warm during the winter. All right, let's send them over to... Actually, you know what? Let's not send them anywhere else. Let's just hire another adventurer and send them into the forest. And they'll very slowly earn enough to give me potions. Hey, we can afford a battle perk now. Wow. I'll go with that one. I'll actually get one more of these, sure. Let's get this. Upgrading adventurers is very powerful in this mode. I need something for my armors. Let's go with that. Are they buying stuff? Yeah. They're just not buying armor items. Because they hate me. Oh, okay, I'm taking that. And it put it on my warrior. And it gave them shields up. Okay, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't even want to do anything with that. Let's dump all of those and then dump all the bad items. I think we got rid of them all. Now we just have good items. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, this is going to be a win. I don't really think there's a lot of difficulty. Nor is it really the intention of this mode anyway. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Doesn't really matter. So what should I build next? Oh, the only building that's left, the fishing pond. And now we can get faux potions. Which is slowly dumping potions in. Pretty nice. So now we have 1 overflow fish. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I do like the new spell. I think it's interesting when you only have enough mana to cast one of them, which one you're going to cast. And I think the customer spell is now kind of less interesting. And that's maybe a tiny bit of a problem. Let's get the archer. Let's send them into the fishing pond. Want as well. And then dump some of these things over here. All right, nice. Yeah, I'll write that down. Customer spell seems slightly less interesting. Same with worker speed. Meta perks are just so strong. Did I make the art myself? No. There's what I meant to type. I started with just a couple asset packs, but Quickie Joe has made quite a lot of the artwork at this point. All right, yeah. This is going very smoothly. Both of these are really good. I'm gonna go loot magnet. I'm also probably gonna hire another adventurer at this point. Have we gotten our other worker yet? No. We need one more potion. The paladin is taking their sweet time. I wonder if they can go to the volcano after this. Think it makes something to increase the number of adventures you can have at the same time. Adventures are very expensive in terms of dev time to make because there are so many abilities. Like we need the sort of class identity. We generally have 7 unlocked abilities that you can put points into and then 3 innate abilities. And then there's a bunch of graphics that go along with them too. Like their battle graphics, their walking around town graphics. They are going to have like a better portrait pretty soon. So getting more of them is not easy. With that said, I'm not planning on having more for launch. I think 10 is pretty good. The more we add as well, the more it's going to be hard for you to find the ones you want, at least in this mode, because the way you hire them is by just seeing a choice of 2 at a time. And the way you upgrade them is by seeing a choice of 3. So now imagine there are 12 adventurers or 15 adventurers in the game. You might not get the ones you want. Oh, activities. I think this is pretty good for a V1. I don't know if people are going to say, like, this isn't enough, I want more. But in general, I think it feels pretty good. There's always something to do or something to, like, click or focus your attention on. I think the game is playing pretty well now. Look at this. They are not... Wait, maybe they'll win this? Wait, where's the spirit caller? Are they not even in the battle? Oh my god. I think I might have just hired them. Well, now they should definitely win. And they'll give me the potions that I need. So I should upgrade some buildings here. Let's go with that for sure. Yeah. That's pretty good. Oh, I don't even have the next quest started. And we need boots, and I'm getting boots. We should send them to the next location now. Customer speed, sounds good. I'll get instant loot. Alright, let's send them to the next place. When I was playing, got to the end, I was just leveling up adventurers to be completionist. I wanted to be able to send to more locations. I think part of the reason for that is because the game's not supposed to end there. So in the future, you'll get to that point and you'll be like, oh, let me just move on in the game. But that doesn't exist right now. But it is still possible that even after more stuff exists, that you still want to send to more locations. So I'll have to keep an eye on that stuff. Ooh, nice. Witch Doctor power up. All right, so it looks like everyone's winning. That's good. I'll take this one. I'm not even using the treasure stands right now. Honestly, I think the building cost could stand to go up a little bit faster. Maybe like plus 10 gold per building. It just doesn't feel like getting all the buildings is that difficult now. Because it's not difficult. Okay, so let's get rid of these things. Getting extra workers and customers too also feels almost broken. Alright, let's get a treasure chest. I need another worker, which means I need 4. Oh, nice, we got them all. And I meant to say 5. Yeah, nice. Cool, so now we can get some of these potions and stuff. Let's dump all these in there. I do want to sell some of those, though. I'll just get rid of all these. Special keys. Let's get it. None of this stuff really matters. Battle perk. Kind of want one for my archer, but that rogue one's really nice. Alright, so I don't need these potions anymore. They don't even need to fight there anymore. I guess I can just sell those. And I should sell some of these. Where are all my workers? They're just running around doing stuff. Yeah. Oh, they're mostly bringing potions here. Let's just turn that off. I'll take that. All right, how we doing on keys? Got it. 6 rogue cloaks. What level are they right now? 1? They're about to be level 3. Which gives them plus 30 health and plus 6 power. Yeah, that's pretty good. Farming frenzy. Once you're beyond farming mode, I feel like the number of perks it takes to max the farm is just too much. Get this one. I'm gonna actually make customers move faster here. Yeah. They can probably go fight in the next area now. I might as well get some treasure chests. Let's do it. Alright, so which one would benefit the most from... Ooh, both of those would. Actually, all 3 of them are the same. 3 times 2. They only got 1 item each. So I should probably put it in this one. Give me a golem shard. I do have the golem. I guess let's dump a bunch of these items in there. I want this chest to be prioritized. Almost. Okay, cool. Flimsy fish. I'll take it. Let's put some of these in there. Get another worker. Got him. Okay. Nice. We can't even stock everything anymore. Everyone's buying stuff too fast. Yeah, wow. Get some perks. Probably just shiny loot. I like a lot of the generated perks that I added. You know, every once in a while, I'll replay the story mode version of the game, and I'm like, man, the start is a little bit slow, but then I watch new players play, and I'm like, it's not actually that slow. It's working pretty well. And I think with challenge mode, it's okay if the first challenge or 2 doesn't have all of the perks, because you wouldn't have gotten used to all of them as a player. Once you're used to them, you want more content, and it does get unlocked. But since I've already experienced all the content, I just want the new content now, and it's not showing up because I haven't unlocked it yet. Hey again, Pillar. I'm doing a quick play test. Then it's getting pretty late in terms of stream time. Alright, yeah. This is definitely gonna result in a win. Two hours is a lot. 2 hours of what? The stream? Because I split my stream into morning and afternoon, and I take a lunch break off stream. So I actually streamed for 4 hours this morning already. So it's been a pretty full day. Plus, I don't tend to take breaks while I'm streaming. So I took 1 break in the morning and then my lunch break. So I've been away from the computer while streaming for 3 minutes or something. I really shouldn't be doing that. Should be taking more breaks. Yeah. Ooh, nice. More upgrades for the armor shop. Okay, so what we need now is more ability to sell stuff. Yeah, let's go for the weapon shop. We have a lot of weapons. I also could just take my adventurers out of the volcano. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let's get this. My adventurers are not acting as workers. I wonder if I should give that to people by default. I'll write it down. Consider giving hardworking adventurers by default. It's not a fun perk to take most of the time. It's not bad. It's just not exciting. Oh, nice. A red key. 9 paladin shields. I'm not even using the paladin right now. Oh my god. Alright. Well, we could level up the paladin if we want to. I guess none of these really matter. Although golems, at least in a fight, it's less work for me to just give it to them. Oh, that's pretty nice. Robert Slime's at full right now, too. Alright, town really picked up over here. How do you think about making the game exciting? Oh, like what goes into my process for designing that sort of thing? I think a lot of it is based on feel. And I think there are certain things inherent to certain genres. Like if you're making an RPG, you're probably going to have an upgrade at some point, right? Getting plus 1% chance to crit, most of the time, that's not exciting or even something you can notice. So like plus 10% chance to crit, okay, now that's kind of crazy, right? Like you could feel a 10% difference. So that alone, going from like 1% to 10%, is something you can do to make your game more exciting. And it's one tiny piece of maybe one tiny system, depending on your game. So I think it's applying that to pretty much every decision you make. And then some of it is also some fanfare, some juice. Like, okay, now that you're getting an upgrade, what does it look like? Does it look like a lot's happening? Is there confetti on the screen? All right, we just need customers to move faster. But we're about to win. Actually, this was a little closer than I thought. I guess I could have upgraded my... Yeah, let's send these to the next location. I think they can beat it. They might not be able to, though. Let's take a look. I don't even need another chest. In fact, let's turn this... Oh, it's already been off. Oh, so I haven't been getting fish at all. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, this whole if you want a metal text is probably not as helpful. Okay, yeah, we're winning. Yeah, I don't think this is going to take very long then for us to fully win. We can dump this in there, this. Shiny loot's giving me 3 gold. We can get the remaining ones of these. That looks good. Yeah, nice. Impulse buying would have been the best choice, actually. Yeah, I should have taken that. And it's too late now. It's probably never going to show up again. But I've got like 10 seconds until I win. Last? Yep, there we go. All right, so 17 minutes, 31 seconds. Adventuring. 17:31. So we go to the title screen. We have now unlocked 2 more perks, Stronger Hires and Grant Storage. I don't think this is interesting enough to have here. I think we'll just go change that right now. But I don't know if it's interesting to have anywhere. Like when games only last 20 minutes or something, it's not that... Where are these perks? There they are. Yeah, it's number 4. The customer speed max level perk is, or meta perk, unlockable perk, is not that interesting. I almost wonder if it should be given by default so that it doesn't feel like it's taking a slot. It's not really taking a slot. In fact, how many of these do we have? Was that 15? Wait, I didn't even need to count those because it says right there 15. Yeah, we have 15. So I'm giving them 2 at a time, which obviously means it takes 8 times to get to more than 15. But we could give them 3 at a time, and then it would only take 5 runs. And I think that might feel a little bit better. The games aren't that long, though. Like 20 minutes. I'm trying to think, how long is a Slay the Spire game when you finally win? Like your first couple times when you're still learning the cards and everything. It probably takes you 40 plus minutes. And probably on that first run, you get like 3 more cards. I'm still torn about this. But the other observation I have is that the farm takes a ton of upgrades to get going. It's almost not worth investing in compared to the fishing pond. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe, okay, hold on. Maybe you could unlock perk bundles as part of the unlockable perks. Like one of them would grant 2 farming perks at the beginning of the run. Maybe they're predetermined to always be farm size and crop variety. I think that would be pretty cool. I wonder if that's even better than my idea with starting perks. Anyway, if I were to change up my upgrades now, what would I get? So I could get level 2 of that. I can get level 2 of that. I think starting the more adventures is actually a lot of money that it's giving you. You can start with 2 buildings. That's not a ton of money. This is like giving me 75 gold, I think. But then no workers. I think the workers are really valuable. I like that there are different builds here, though. Because different players are going to value different things, and there's no wrong choice. They all help you. In fact, I almost wonder, what if I just chose this and got 10 battle perks right off the bat? Because even within a run, you're offered more workers, and you can have adventurers act as workers. Assuming I did that. I don't even know if I did that. Town generator. Hard work. Uh-oh. It's not there. Oh, there it is. Adventurers holding items. Okay. I just didn't call it hard working. Okay. Well, anyway, I don't want to go too far into this because we got to do some of this stuff tomorrow too. So tomorrow's stream will just be in the morning. I just kickstart my days. I am probably going to do some playtesting off stream too. So it's going to be some more content. Oh man, Abby's going nuts. Abby, hey, do you want to come over? Will you say hi? Abby? Oh, she has deigned to jump up here. Hello. Hello, cat. Hi. Wow, you're very soft. Okay, cat butt. Look over. Yeah, so tomorrow will just be the morning stream, and I'm going to keep working on a little bit of content. I think the game's in pretty good shape. I think there are some things we're going to have to change up. Support the true streamer. Yeah. Hey, bye. Okay, ciao. Yeah, I think she wants attention. So let me go find someone to raid. He's meowing up a storm. Let's go raid Yuki. Yeah, I don't know when she's ending. Hopefully it's not too soon. All right, let's all say hi. Yuki's a very relaxing streamer, in my opinion. She has a very relaxing voice. I'll be back tomorrow morning. And then on Friday, I want to launch the new version of the playtest. So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you next time. Have a good rest of your day.